Hey everyone, so I finally got around to reading actual physical books. So as you can see from the book in front of me, I just finished Death of Dulgath, a Riyria book. It's the third one of the Riyria Chronicles, which if you're not familiar with Michael J Sullivan's books, it's the series that was written after his original series, the Riyria Revelations, but the books themselves take place before those books, and kind of lay out how Hadrian and Royce kind of got to know each other and became kind of the bros they are. So this particular book, like the other ones in the Chronicles, is about some of their more infamous heists. They take place roughly a year apart, so this is roughly the third year of Hadrian and Royce knowing each other. And again, if you're not familiar with the series at all, it's a fantasy type world, kind of medieval setting, knights and castles and horses and little hints of magic here and there. There's not so much magic in these specific books because, in general, the world at this time doesn't really acknowledge magic, even though it plays an important part. So this book obviously has to do with Dulgath and the death of Dulgath, which is a little town kind of on the western edge of their known world. And the book mostly takes place in there. There's little bits out and about. I mean, you get to see Gwen momentarily at the beginning and Albert as they get the job and then head on down. As the book goes, if you haven't read any of his books before, this would be a fine one to start with. It's interesting. You don't really have to know a whole lot about them to have a good time, and it's a well-polished story. If you have read any of the other stories, there's little tidbits here and there that, if you read them, you probably pick up on some stuff pretty quick and be like, oh yeah, I bet I knew who that person is. But at the same time, it leads a little mystery and intrigue and doesn't always give you the answers, so you can speculate a lot, but still, when you're done, have a good conversation with friends to be like, oh man, do you think it's this person or that person, or how do you think this worked? Overall, very interesting. It does well with the world, keeping a lot of the mythology kind of there, and also doing a lot of what Michael J. Sullivan seems to like to do, where he interweaves everything, but also shows how time is the greatest changer of truth. So little bits here and there, a lot of fun, good actions, scenes and build up, and a little bit of drama here and there. As would you buy it? I would. I also really like the series in general, so that tends to influence if I would continue to buy it. If you're not familiar with the series at all, you can pick it up, enjoy it, have a good time, and if you liked it, definitely check out the other books. Again, this is the third book of the Riyria Chronicles, which are each kind of standalone stories. Each book is meant to kind of be by itself, so they work really well that way. If you enjoyed this book and want a place to go to from here, I would highly recommend either the Age of Myth kind of stories that he has, which um, talk about the beginning of everything that's concluded with in the Riyria or Revelations, and they're fun, they're interesting, good reads. But probably the best place to start would be with the Riyria Revelations, where you see Hadrian Royce the whole through that whole series and get to know them really well. It also, in my opinion, having seen where they get to, really kind of helps me enjoy even further seeing where they came from. So there's that as well. I'd say check it out, borrow it from a friend, buy it, borrow it from a library, and just have yourself a good time. It's 385 pages of text, so that gives you kind of a rough idea of how long it might take you to read. But overall, a good book. I am finally getting to the rest of my list that has grown and grown and grown of physical hard paper, whatever books that I want to read. I'm still listening to a couple books here and there, but if you have some suggestions, please put them in the comments below. I'm starting to get to that list, which makes me excited. And if you read this book or any of the other Riyria books, I would love to hear your opinions and comments on them below.